Okay, as you can see that we are going to discuss here again today on the economically important crops, that is on cereals. So we had already discussed on two important cereal crops, that is wheat and rice, and today we are going to discuss on another very important cereal crop plant, that is on maize. So today we will continue with another very important cereal crop which rank only next to wheat and rice. Why I choose these three crops for three cereal crops? Because they are very important throughout the world. You can see that wheat and rice, they rice is the first important cereal crops. The wheat, it ranks second, whereas maize, it ranks only next to wheat and rice. So these three are the very important cereal crops uh, that we will be discuss. Okay, so maize, as you can see here, its botanical name is Zea mays. Okay, its botanical name is Zea mays, and it belongs to the family Poaceae. So the vernacular names of maize in India, some of few of the vernacular names are Makka, which is called in Hindi. Then we have Bhutta in Bengali, then Makai in Marathi, and we have Muka Jana in Telugu and Maka Cholam in Tamil Nadu. We have other vernacular names, okay, by which it is known in India, but these are few names, vernacular names of this particular crop. Now, coming to the origin and its distribution, actually, there is so much controversy regarding the origin of this particular crop. Okay, and maize is an important cereal crop again throughout the world. In terms of area on the cultivation as well as production, you see here that it ranks only next to wheat and rice. And as I said, that there is a much controversy regarding its origin. Why? Because you see, according to these studies, the archaeological and geological evidences, uh, this particular crop it according to those studies, it indicate that it was originated as a wild plant in uh, Mexico. Okay, it was believed that it is originated as a wild plant and not as a domesticated plant. Okay, it is a wild plant which originated from Mexico around 5,000 years ago. Whereas other workers, okay, some other workers, they believe that it was originated in Southeast Asia and probably in India. And then it spread to American continent before Columbus. So maize, it has been cultivated for thousands of years in many parts of the American continent, and it was probably carried to Europe by Columbus during his first voyage, and thereafter the Spaniards and the Portuguese, they introduced it throughout the tropics. So today the maize plant is one of the most widely distributed crop plant, okay, and is extensively grown in these countries, okay, which you see here. All these countries, they this particular crop plant is grown in extensively, okay, in all these countries, and 44% of the world's production, see this part here, this line here, 44% of the world's production, it comes from America alone. It comes from America alone, and the yield of maize, it has been increased significantly by the use of other hybrid varieties. And coming to the area of cultivation, okay, this part here is the area of cultivation. So in India, you see that these are the different states by which this particular crop plant is cultivated. So these are the different states in India. And during the year 2007 to 2008, it was grown on approximately 6.6 million. All right, it has grown approximately 6.6 million hectare of land, and the total production was 19.31 million tons, which is a very, very huge production. So these are some of the area of cultivation in India. So now coming to the botanical characteristic of this maize plant. So if you take a look at this maize crop plant, it is actually an annual herbaceous plant. Okay, and it attains a height of about 1 to 5 meter. Now the stem or the culm, okay, the stem is also known as the culm, culm. It is usually unbranched. Okay, it is usually unbranched. As you can see here, there are a single branch here. A single branch is present here, or it has only few tillers are present. And as you can see, there are many advantageous roots, fibrous roots, which are developed from the lower nodes of this culm or this branches. And the leaves, coming to the leaves, okay, the leaves, they are distichous, and they are present at the junction of the leaf sheath and the lamina, okay, the leaf sheath which cover the stem. Now the male inflorescence, it is referred to as the tassel. Okay, this is the male inflorescence here. Now if you take a look at the male inflorescence, it occupies the terminal position, right? The terminal position on this main axis. So it occupies this terminal position here, whereas the female, you can see this is the female inflorescence. It occupies the, they are born on the modified lateral branches. Okay, these are the modified lateral branches here in the axil of the leaf. So the female inflorescence, they arise in the axil of the leaf, whereas the male, it occupies the terminal position of the main branches. Now the tassel, if you take a look at the tassel or the male inflorescence, it is a much branched. Okay, it is much branched, and it has uh, it has a pairs of spikelets. You can see this figure here. Okay, there are pair of spikelets arranged in two rows. In each of this male inflorescence, they are arranged in two rows, okay, in both sides. And if you take a look at each spikelet, this is a single male spikelet. It consists of a pair of glumes. Okay, it consists of a pair of glumes, and enclosing two florets. Okay, so this is a pair of glumes here enclosing two florets, and the female inflorescence is also known as the ear. Okay, so the ear, it producing branch has short internodes. Okay, and you see this branch here which produce the female inflorescence or the ear, it has a short internode, and it bears female spike at its apex. These are the spikes. Okay, and many rows of spikelets are arranged in vertical longitudinal rows on a compact spike. Now the number of rows varies from about 16 to 20 in other hybrid varieties of maize plant, and each spikelet, it has a pair of small membranous glumes and two florets. Now this feathery style, okay, let me show you again this feathery style here of a female inflorescence or female florets, they are long. You please you can see this diagram here. This is the female floret. Okay, so the female florets, they are long, and as you can see in this figure here also, they are emerge out of the cup. You can see this is the cup here. So these female flowers, they are long and emerge out of the cup, and they are collectively known as the styles or the silks. Okay, the silks. And the tip of the style, it has two short unequal stigmas. Whereas this cup here, which is green in color, this cup is, it remains surrounded by overlapping leaf sheath. Okay, it is covered. You can see this one here, it is covered, or it remains overlapping within, it is surrounded by the overlapping leaf sheaths which develop from the nodes of the lateral branch. Now the seed, the grain is a caryopsis. Okay, it has two types of endosperm. Okay, the seed has two type of endosperm, that is hard, flinty and yellow, which has a very high protein content. Okay, and the second is soft, flory and white, which has white, high starch contents. Okay, so these are the two types of endosperms. One is hard, flinty and yellow, and it has a high protein content, whereas the other one, it is soft, flory and it is white, and it has a high starch content. And the aleuron layer, it separates, okay, the embryo from the starchy endosperm. And the color also, it differs greatly with variety. I think you must have seen many different varieties of this maize crop. Some are white through yellow, some are red and purple to almost black. There are varieties which are very purple in color, and those very dark purple, they almost look like black in color. And some are yellow, some are even reddish in color. Okay, so there are different colors of maize crop. Okay, in different, it depends on the different varieties of maize crop. So now coming to its cultivation. As you can see here, that maize, it is a subtropical crop, and it is suitable for areas with a temperature range from 21 to 27 degree and an annual rainfall of 60 to 120 centimeters. So these are the climatic conditions suitable for the cultivation of maize crop. And this crop, coming to the soil type, it can be grown on alluvial soil, loam soil, which is best suited for its growth. And you see here that this particular crop plant, it is sun loving, and it requires a long hot growing season with plenty of sunshine, because this plant, it cannot tolerate frost, okay, or uh, winter season. So it is best suited in those seasons which are during hot summer season, we can say. Okay, and in India, therefore, maize is grown as a kharif crop. So for its cultivation, you see the plow is the field is plowed several times, well harrowed and leveled with soil. And okay, you don't need to remember all these. Actually, these are the different fertilizers required for its growth: the nitrogenous fertilizers, then potash, phosphoric acid. You can remember at least the names. Okay, these are the different fertilizers required for its growth, which are usually applied before sowing. And the okay, the seeds, they are usually sown by broadcasting. Remember broadcasting, just by you can throw in the field using hand or using machine. You can spread the seeds in the field. And or you can use dibbling, again by the use of stick, okay, to dig the hole. At the same time, you are digging the hole in the field, and the seed can be planted in that particular hole. Or else they just spread the seeds like that by broadcasting. And the field, it requires irrigation at interval of 10 to 15 days, but it should not be waterlogging, should be prevented. Okay, it should not be waterlogged. And thus this plant, it requires frequent irrigation, especially at the flowering stage. Okay, it requires frequent irrigation during this time, and it matures in about only 140 days. Whereas the other varieties of this crop plant, the hybrid varieties, they take lesser time to mature, and the crop is then harvested when sheds of cobs become brown and grains become hard. Okay, cob, that is the, you see that thing which has all those seeds, okay, those yellow seeds attached to the cob. So when the sheath of the cob, the covering, the sheath meaning the covering, so when the covering of that cobs, it starts to become brown, because at first you see that it is green in color, right? So uh, when it's becoming brown, then it is time for harvesting, and also when the grains they become hard. So coming to the important varieties of this crop plant. Now these improved varieties, okay, the breeding work for the improved varieties, it is done for these following criteria. Okay, you can see number one, for improving the crop yield. Then the second one, for adaptation, okay, adaptation for different climates. Then resistance to lodging, ear lodging, then the resistance to disease, insect resistance, and also those varieties which will give a better high nutrient contents. Okay, so all these varieties they are improved for these reasons, for these different criteria. You can see the yield, the resistance, adaptation, as well as the nutrient content. And some of these improved varieties they are these. You can see the first one here, the okay, the first one, that is Decal India 1, okay, DK1. Now this is improved for you can see it is resistance to lodging, okay, and also it is improved for resistance to the attack by this insect, that is the helminthosporium, okay, the worms, helminthosporium attack. And the second one, it is resistance to lodging and also downy mildew infection, the infection caused by microorganisms. The third one also, it is a resistance to these diseases, downy mildew, blight, and rust. These are all disease caused by fungi and bacteria. And we have the fourth one, that is high starch. This plant, it has been developed to meet the need of industrial starch. Okay, that means it has a high nutrient content, the nutrient starch. And the fifth one, that is the amber, it has a high yielding variety. It can give a much higher yield as compared to other varieties. And then we have Shakti. Okay, Shakti, it is grown in various part of the country. Okay, and this is the one of the variety which is recommended for cultivation in this area in India. Okay, that is Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Tarai belt of Uttar Pradesh. And the grains they are yellow and soft in texture. And not only in India, but these are sorry, besides these grains, you can see here, besides all these six improved varieties, there are other varieties, okay, which are there are some other important varieties which are grown in various parts of the country, that is in India. So coming to the uses, we see that corn is extensively used as food, forage, or feed for livestock. Okay, forage used for feeding the horses or the cattle. Okay, and also used as a raw material for many industrial products. And the grain of the maize plant, it is very nutritious with high percentage of easily digestible carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So it has a high uh, nutrient contents. You can see both the carbohydrates, the fats, and the proteins. And the grain, it can be ground into flour and baked into chapati, but due to low gluten content, it does not form dough with elastic properties, because if you remember that wheat, it has these high gluten content in it. That is why it can easily form dough with high elastic properties. But this maize crop plant, because it has a low gluten content, That is why it cannot form a dough. You cannot make a dough using this maize crop plant. And also several food products can be prepared from crop, from this particular crop, like cornmeal. Then we have another food item that is corn hominy. Okay, this is also a food products of made from corn. Okay, then we have the grits, then the cornflakes. Grits is like a porridge, okay, made from a boiled cornmeal, and cornflakes are made from corn. So another important uses is that corn syrup and corn sugar, they find extensive use in the manufacture of confections, then jams and jellies. And spoiled, even the spoiled maize, it has uses, okay, because maize, they are easily attacked by fungus, especially during storage. Okay, you will find uh, the fungus growing on these corn or the maize grains, on the grains of maize, they are usually attacked by fungus or insect. But even these spoiled maize, they can be used for energy generation. So it is very useful, even as a spoiled crop. And maize starch, okay, the starch which is obtained from maize, it is extensively used as a sizing material in textile as well as paper industries. And in food industry, it has many uses, such as preparation of pies, then puddings, salad dressing, and confections. And it is also used for the production of dextrose. Dextrose is a carbohydrate. And also corn syrup, and as a diluent for pharmaceutical preparations, okay, diluent for diluting substances. And it is also used as an ingredient for oil well drilling muds, and as a depressant in ore flotation process. You must have studied before in your earlier studies. Okay, in chemistry we have this ore flotation process. So a depressant is actually used for separating the sulfide ores. Okay, the depressant is used for separating the sulfide ores by preventing the froth formation. And this maize starch, okay, the starch which is obtained from maize, it also find use in cosmetics as an ingredient of toilet powders. And it is also used in the manufacture of asbestos, that is a fibrous substance, okay, used for fireproof and other purposes. And ceramics, the articles made from those clay, okay, and hardened by using heat. And then dyes, plastics, oilcloth, and linoleum. And this corn syrup obtained from corn is used in shoe polish, then glassine paper, rayon, and in tobacco industry. And this corn sugar or corn syrup, it is also used in the manufacture of chemicals, then leather preparations, dyes, and explosive. So these are some important uses of maize. And we have another uses, such as, so you can see the oil obtained from maize. Okay, the maize also, it also produce oil, and it can be obtained through a process called distillation, okay, for obtaining the oil. So this oil is semi drying oil, and it is obtained from the dried grains, okay, the dried germs of maize. This oil is used as a salad dressing and as well as for cooking. So we also have corn oil or maize oil, which is used for cooking. And this oil is also used in the manufacture of soaps, varnishes, paints, and other preparations. Now, zane, here you see this word zane. Let me show you this one. Zane is actually a protein. Okay, a protein which is recovered from gluten. Now, as I had already mentioned, actually maize it cannot use for the preparation of dough because it has a very low content of gluten. Gluten, I had already explained before also that it is a mixture of proteins and it has this elasticity property. That is why you can prepare dough from wheat, but not from maize because it has a low content of this gluten. So this zein also, it is a protein which is obtained from gluten present in the maize and is used as a binder for cork particles, okay, in the formation or of composition cork, okay, for making cork. And also an artificial textile fiber known as the vikara. Here you see this one. Vikara is prepared from this protein content obtained from maize, that is zein. And this zein is also employed as a foaming agent in fire extinguishers and in the preparation of linoleum and oilcloth. Okay, linoleum usually used for the preparation of those, if you remember, for floor covering. Okay, floor covering is used from this linoleum. And the cups or the cornstarch, okay, they are very rich in pentosans, and these, just like the wheat, they are also used for furfural production. And I had already explained about this furfural also. Now, maize silk, okay, those silk which is obtained from the female inflorescence, that is the styles, this, it has a medicinal property. Okay, it is used as astringent, for diuretic and also chloritic. So these are some of the diseases which the maize silk is used as a medicine. Okay, it has a medicinal property, and it is also has several industrial uh, uses, such as for production of ethyl, butyl, propyl alcohol, acetaldehyde, acetone, glycerol, and all these substance here, they are obtained from corn by the process of fermentation and distillation process. And the husk obtained from corn is used for mattings, hats, and as a filling for mattresses. Okay, for mattress also. And the stalks and the leaves, they are used for making paper, paperboard, and wallboard. So we see that compared to other uh, cereal crops, this particular cereal crop, why it is very very important, because you see it has many industrial, agricultural, domestical, many purposes, many uses. Okay, even it has a medicinal uses or as well. So these are some of the important uses of maize crop.